This episode of the Go to Bed podcast is brought to you by Enduro Fest, May 4th at the Wild West Motorsports Park just east of Sparks. If you hit the Mustang Ranch, you have gone too far, but not all is lost. You might want to stop in there too. And this is an AMA Extreme Enduro event, so you know it's going to be sick.
We've got Cody Webb, Ty Tremaine, Kyle Redmond, and Destry Abbott. And we hear there's going to be some amateurs there, kids, and the pros. So, moto guys, if you don't do off-road much, come try it out.
And I've done this event a couple of years ago, and it's gnarly. But yeah, they're definitely racing for all types of riders out there. So give it a shot. May 4th, Sparks.
Enduro Fest.
Be there. Go to bed.
But we're going to get unblocked.
Sometimes you see him out there and he's just fucking asleep.
Get a pillow, get a blanket.
No, I'm not a fucking dirtbag.
Go to bed. Tired, dude.
Good night. Go to bed.
Are those talking points?
Way to prepare, dude. After we start recording. Of course, weed. First one.
SX. Money.
Yo, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Go to Bed. I'm your co-host, Fiki, joined with my co-host,
JP.
Before we get too far into it, we need to shout out our sponsors, Walden's Coffee House. I guess, am I the only one eating right now?
Well, I ate already.
Oh.
I was so hungry, when I picked it up.
All right, well, explain what this is. I only
This
know
right
about the
here
burritos.
is called the cab, which stands for chicken, avocado, bacon. And I'm just going to take a quick glance. It's got provolone cheese, avocado, bacon, chicken, tomato, spinach, and a little homemade aioli. Panini pressed all together.
Congrats, dude.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bless you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, they got 3 locations here in Reno, Mayberry, Arlington, and Wells. Go find Michael or Manny and tell them to go to bed, get a free set of to-go silverware. And our other sponsor, at Enduro Fest on Instagram.
May 4th in Sparks.
Ty Tremaine.
Be there.
You can check them out on Instagram and go ahead and go to the event when that happens.
May 4th.
All right. Today we're joined with 2 guests. This is our first podcast with 2 guests, and we only have 3 mics, so probably sound like shit, but we're going to just run with it anyway. So we're joined here with Chris Elliott. He's the team manager for some sort of Supercross team, I suppose. And Jaime from Tech One Designs does graphics and fucking hot tubs, basically.
Cheap graphics, like real cheap graphics.
Like quality, dude.
Quality
fucking
cheap.
horrible.
Quality but cheap?
Yeah,
Quality but cheap.
Yeah.
Price cheap.
All right, you guys can go ahead and give your little... Jamie's probably not going to give an introduction, so that's Incline Hot Tub. Check him out. That's his introduction. But Chris, who the fuck are you?
I'm Chris. I'm from Canada. I'm the race team manager for Rockwell. Watches. Ride some Yamahas. Hang out.
Manage Supercross teams.
That's the rumor. Head babysitter.
Head babysitter.
Head babysitter. That's what I do. Head babysitter, and I book some flights.
Heavy.
Yeah. That's what it, man.
That's about it, huh?
How old are you?
My birthday's tomorrow. I'll be 33.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Damn, dude.
Tomorrow.
Whoa.
Yeah, 33. It's over.
Fuck, I should have made you a clock.
Don't even get started on the call.
Yeah, you guys got to check out our YouTube Go to Bed podcast. Jamie hooked us up with this Go to Bed clock. Dude. Oh, it's working?
It works?
Yeah, it's
working. I was like, I thought you set that to 420, and that is 5:37.
Same thing. Every day is 420, baby.
But yeah, we got a sick clock now for the bedroom studio. What was I going to say? I forgot already. So we're off to a good start.
Well, that's because you're a host of this show and it's go to bed, so you're probably sleepy.
A little tired.
Yeah. Comes
Cool.
with it, folks.
So, dude, that's what I was going to say. A bunch of our listeners are like moto guys. Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing, especially the younger ones, are probably fucking masturbating onto their phone right now, just thinking about having a job in the industry like you. So how did you get this gig? Like, what's your backstory for one leading up to this job?
How much time we got?
34 seconds.
34 seconds. All right. So I had no desire of being in the moto industry. What happened was, did you guys ever read the Freestyle MTX blog back in the day? No. So basically, it was like a blog, and it was just all freestyle stuff. I posted on it a bunch, and one day I wrote a blog, essentially.
What was it about?
Dude, I think it was about maybe Loza's Volt at the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's about freestyle, dude.
Yeah, freestyle.
What was Loz's Volt?
You know who Kyle Loza
Kyle
is?
Loza?
Kyle
Come
Loza.
on. Fucking
Hey,
clue,
kid.
dude.
Come on.
Remember we
Cannibal
crashed into the
Christian.
fucking barrier?
Yeah.
And he's like,
That
oh,
happened
dude,
more
that
than
was
once.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so I did it, and I got hooked on writing, right? I liked the digital pen to paper that took place, and I liked the reaction I got out of people, whether it was good or bad. From there, I started a website called fmxnews.com. And before that, though, I basically offered directmotocross.com to write content for free. So before you want to get in the motocross industry, the one thing I will say is, like, you're not going to make money for a long time. I actually used to write my stuff and then buy photos to be cleared to put into my articles. Just paid to do it, right? So eventually I had too much content for directmotocross.com as far as freestyle when I started getting better guys like Adam Jones, Biden, Mason.
Never heard of them.
Yeah, I think they're local. Are they local? Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. So, from there was a need to start fmxnews.com. I started fmxnews.com. And after I started, I reached out to Steve Mathis, Pulp MX, asked him what he thought of the site, and just critique my writing a little bit. And then also a guy named Ryan Leba, who worked at ESPN at the time. And within like 2 months of starting FMX News, Leba was leaving ESPN to start at MTV, and he asked if I'd write a little bit of content at ESPN. From there, it just took off. So I started contributing for ESPN, and then this was all while I lived in a place called Kaministiquia, Ontario, Canada. So I was still in Canada at the time. When I moved down here, ESPN went from sports-specific blogs to summer and winter. So there was not a need for motocross anymore, essentially. Then from there, from my time writing for ESPN, I got to know guys from the militia pretty well, like Shane Rees. He works for the Jola Group, and then he had a company called Mediax. With Shane, I started doing marketing contracts, essentially, for whether it was Formula One, IndyCar, there was a Super Bowl campaign, Sony, all kinds of stuff. And then in 2016, I took a contract with a defunct team called Slayton Racing, and that's how the Supercross thing started. So it was a long, weird road, and it all tied together, and it took like 5 years.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah. So
From riding to managing.
yeah, so the way that worked out was when I was at Slayton, they meant well, but once me and Ryan, well, to backtrack a little bit, you guys know who Ryan Clark is?
Sounds
Oh, yeah.
Dude, like if you're 30, or late 20s, mid 30s, you grew up watching Supercross, Ryan Clark. He's like, I might be selling him short, but he's probably like, he was like an 11th to 16th place 450 guy. Team Solitaire. He had a team for a long time. So they brought Ryan on to help with the management side of things. And then I was there just for marketing, like running the social platforms and being at the races and running race reports. The team didn't really work out the way it was supposed to work out. We ended up getting some support from factory KTM in Canada and stuff like that. And it didn't work out. But Ryan said to me at that point, hey, like, we're a pretty good team. Do you want to maybe do something with the Rockwell Watches truck? And that's how it happened. So,
Dope.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Does that sound right? I told you that story before, right?
Sounds right.
Yeah, it sounds right.
It's good. You're just here to confirm, like,
Yeah.
like they're like,
He's
nah,
gonna-
that was actually bullshit.
Yeah,
This is the real fucking story.
He'll call me
dude."
on anything. That's fair. I mean, I need that.
So what's your, like, day-to-day duties? I'm sure it varies a lot from race day to weekday, but, what are you responsible for the team?
So, like, believe it or not, like, the busiest time of year for me is probably May to November. And that's basically lining everything up for the following year. But as far as day-to-day during the week goes, I mean, on Thursday or Friday is usually travel for us. So, Saturday is race. Obviously, it's just babysitting all day and putting out fires and whatever it can be. And hopefully the day goes smooth. But Sunday's usually, fly home. While I'm doing that, make sure I get all my emails out to what we've determined we need for the following week, whether it's setting up testing sessions, ordering parts, that sort of thing. Then, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, hopefully just whatever you lined up on Sunday, roll smooth, which it doesn't ever. And then, back on the plane Thursday and back at it.
Damn, so it's 7 days a week, basically.
Yeah, 7 days a week. And, like, Yeah, it's a grind, but the West Coast swing's not bad, right? Because I could never do the full series, like indoor and outdoors, 17 and whatever 16 it is. I'd never do it. Those guys that do that are crazy.
Just imagine the racers, dude.
Yeah. No,
so insane.
It's a grind for them. I mean, between racers and bikes, like we just had this conversation today because we've been having some problems with our motors, and it's amazing motors don't break more than they do. But when you have problems, you feel like it's happening all the time, but it's not. And same thing with the guys. It's amazing when the guys can stay healthy. You take that for granted, right? Like, but it's you're faced with a lot during the season. It's crazy.
How many guys you got on your team?
We actually started the year with 2, and John Ames, he ended up doing his arming pretty good, testing at the TLD track before the season started. And then we had just Harrison, and we brought on Scott Champion midway through. Scott has some other stuff he has to do for the rest of the series. So now we're going to bring on Bradley Leonette. We've had him for the last couple of years. He's coming back. And then we're trying to get a kid his points. His name's Hunter Schlesinger. So he's, we call him Slushy. He's hopefully get his points in Indy. Or no, where's the next thing? Yeah, Indy this weekend.
Yeah.
No, last weekend. I don't know. He's trying to get his points. I know that.
From Futures?
From Futures. Yeah, he needs 1 point. So we're hoping to have him by probably Denver just to get him a couple rounds under his belt and then see what we could do for next year.
You're pretty quick?
He's quick, yeah. I mean, they're all quick. The thing that people don't realize is, like, anybody in the 40-man field is gnarly. Mm-hmm. It's easy to, like, get mad at fantasy, or it's easy for me to get mad at my guys and be mad at things, but they're insane, those guys. They're so gnarly, they're so talented, it's so technical, and it's one of those other things you take for granted unless you truly see it and understand the mechanics behind the riding and the actual bikes themselves. So it's been cool to be a part of.
Yeah, that's super sick, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So who do you answer to? Is there just like a team owner, and then you're right under him? Or
so Clarky and Rich Agate from Rockwell Watches own the team, basically, and then I'm the team manager. So I answer to myself unless it's something to do that's going to be extremely like a financial burden or maybe a huge risk. I'll talk to Clark about it. But as far as like whether it's gear or bikes or graphics, I mean, I just take care of all that, and then for better or for worse, we're going racing. Yeah.
So are you also responsible, like during the off season, are you lining up sponsors for the team for the next year?
Yeah. So we all do, like Ryan, myself, and Rich. Basically, we'll put together a deck. We'll work with Feld to get the numbers and all the analytics from the season itself. And then we also do data collection during the season. And then, we're just pitching sponsors. That's the other thing that's funny. It's like we're basically like a youth soccer team, right? Like we fundraise our money from companies, pool it together, and then we go racing. That's how it works for us. We don't have any. We have factory support from Yamaha to an extent, and they've been super cool with us the first year. But for the most part, I mean, we're on our own to just, like I said, run it like a youth soccer team.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So they give you the money to run the team.
Yeah. So we'll basically say to Jamie, "Hey, Jamie, this is what we want. Can we do this? This is what you'll get for your money. This is where we take your money." And then we have our budget. We usually know what our budget is by, like, say, October, November. That's our budget for better for worse. We go racing. That's it.
How do you train? Like this week, you guys are probably training or no? Or
Mitchell would have rode Monday, Tuesday, maybe today if it didn't rain down there.
Where?
Yeah, Milestone. Or he's cool. TLD KTM's pretty cool with him. He rides that their track a lot. But we've gone the route of trying to have our own track before. Just not worth it. I mean, it might be worth it for like a boot camp for like a month. But then after that, there's so much travel in that first swing of West Coast that to spend the money on the infrastructure it takes to have that track isn't worth it. Because, I mean, after that swing, whether we don't do outdoors, but Mitchell's been preparing for outdoors.
Right.
So he doesn't even ride Supercross. And then he'll kick back up once we, like, in Atlanta, he rode for a couple of days, then we got back at it kind of thing.
You guys don't do outdoors?
No.
Why?
It just costs too much money.
Oh, it does.
It's like the 250 West is a perfect pocket of where you could be profitable and still have a decent presence. You start going outdoors. You could probably do a pretty okay 250 effort on the West Coast for like $500,000. Where, you know what I mean? That's just like your operating budget. I mean, but if you do the whole series and you go outdoors especially, you're looking at, gosh, I don't even know numbers, like quadruple it, whatever you're gonna do. But I mean, the load that 250s take outdoors, it's not. If we did do outdoors, we'd do 450s.
Right.
Put it that way. Because 250s typically are like ticking time bombs, right?
Yeah.
I've always wondered how do the sponsors like get an ROI on the money that they spend with teams like Geico for the Honda team has to be a huge amount that they're spending. Like, how does whoever's in charge of their company like say, yeah, this makes sense for 200 grand or whatever it is that they're spending on the team?
Yeah. So this is the part where I'm going to be brutally honest. I don't know. I don't think those numbers line up. I think that like the bigger sponsors, like say like let's use Pro Circuit for example. Mitch has a tangible product that he's pushing out. That's why he can justify a marketing budget, right? And like say Kawasaki, they probably have a racing budget of 3-4 million they can light on fire. It's money allotted to go racing. I had this conversation with Jamie when I talked to him because I called Jamie and I said, hey, like I don't have anyone to do. This was like 2 years ago, right? I had no one to do my graphics. I said, hey, dude, here's the deal. I need a graphic company to do my graphics. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm going to sell $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 worth of graphics for you. You're going to have a good time with us. I won't take advantage of you. We make some graphics. We'll have a good time. And that's about it. The ROI thing's tricky. I mean, how you try to make it a tangible is through data collection, really, at the end of the day. You're hoping to, I mean, if you're selling me t-shirts, or if you're sponsoring me, your t-shirt company sponsoring me $1,000, maybe you can give me coupon codes that I can try to get out of the races, and hopefully $1,500 worth of sales come back on that. But does that happen? Honestly, probably not. So it's really like the bigger companies just basically have a marketing budget, and there's really no ROI to be shown, really, most of the time.
Yeah.
It's weird that they do that when it seems like there's no benefit to it.
Well, it's brand recognition, and it's companies that have a marketing budget, right? So you have to spend it somewhere. I mean, like, there is sports where I'm sure they do see an ROI, like say like maybe NASCAR. Me personally, and again, it's not that I'm shooting myself in the foot, but it's the same speech I give people. It's like, it's really hard for me to show this for you. You're just going to have to be able to, work it on your own. Like we have to, like on our team side of things, we have to run it like a business. I can't, like I've told Jamie this story before. A couple years ago, I had a rider who basically called me on December 24th and said, dude, this isn't going to do it. I'm like, okay, well, it's December 24th. So if you don't like the motor, leave. Well, I'm like, dude, and this is a guy, he's probably on a good night 15th, on a random night, he's 18 to 20. And for us, again, this isn't what a rider wants to hear, but the way our sport is and the way the financial forecast works out, I'm not going to spend $5 more grand to go from 18th to 17th or 16th. You want to talk about ROI? That is not ROI. I'll spend more money on promo models because there's more of an ROI on that, right? So it's a tricky sport, man, where you even just show ROI or even get the money. In general, it's so weird. I don't understand it, but it's everything that everyone says about it is totally true. It's for what we can give someone that would be like basically a coffee fund budget to like a NASCAR team would be like a title sponsorship, but we can't pull it. And it's not just us. JGR doesn't have a title sponsor. Moto Concepts won a race last year. Nobody was knocking on their door to give them money. They had to dig for change to sign Malcolm Stewart. So, I don't know. Is there an ROI in moto?
So, Jamie, what made you do that? Is it
the graphics?
I could see just because of how honest he was. Like, me and P had this conversation earlier about him pitching photos. I was like, dude, you cannot like over promise on what you're offering and say, hey, I'm going to give you this video, and it's $500, $800, but you're going to get 2,000 worth of sales. I was like, dude, because you can't prove it and you don't know that. Like, you got to go the other way and like under promise and then try to over deliver later, which I can see Chris doing when he says, hey, like, there's no way for me to show you, but this is what it is. You're going to have a good time. At least he's upfront and honest with you.
Totally. Like with the graphic thing, I knew it wasn't a money making thing. It was kind of more, I just like Chris, and it's just something to be involved in the sport and help. Like, I bet you nobody even knows Tech One does Rockwell's graphics, So, no, I don't do it for the profit. I just do it because I like Chris, and it's fun, and it's helping the sport out,
Yeah, that's sick. And I don't see, you kind of post like, you'll post photos of it, but it's not like Tech One is Rockwell's official graphics company, It's like,
just... I don't know. I think that's what Tech One is for me. It's not really to make a shit ton of money. It's really to just have fun and stay in the sport versus just riding and giving back to something that we find super enjoyable. And, maybe one day my kid Ollie will take it over and it'll be profitable for him. But
Yeah.
For me, it's fun.
Maybe you should get into clocks.
Maybe.
Dude, yeah.
Well, and I think more so than ever for like say graphics, there was a time and place where like if you paid say Suzuki or one industry paid Suzuki, I'm looking at that to do their graphics in like 99. Nobody had digital printers, and like Jaime will voice his feelings on that. Nowadays, there's a lot of custom graphic companies. So there at one point there was a time where everyone had like the Chevy trucks, Cowie bike, or that bike, or the Sobe bike, or whatever it was. But like, and to polish up, it's not. There is places you could put ROIs, but when it comes to like, you just have to be specific to each individual brand, right? And with graphics, because Jamie said more specifically, like there's just no ROI for him. And we talked to like Throttle Syndicate, which used to be N Style. Andy Guts, he does our seat covers and he does graphics, and he was the one that kind of opened my eyes to the realities of, dude, I don't even think they sell Husky graphics. They do all the kits for Husky, and they sell like maybe like 10 a year. So it's not like he's gonna do a kit for us and it's gonna fly off his shelf. It's never gonna happen anymore.
A good example is we used to sponsor the Pulpamec show, and when we first started that, it was like $700 a year or something. Totally affordable, fun, part of the sport again. But then the price kept going up. So the very last year, I want to say it was $5,000 for the year. And I talked to Mathis and I'm like, dude, I just can't justify spending $5,000. And he was like, well, are we not doing our job, to help sell your graphics? And I'm like, no, you're doing a good job. It's just, there's so many graphic companies out there. It doesn't matter if I sponsor your show or not. That doesn't mean they're going to buy my graphics. Like in this area, I feel like most of my support is local people.
Yeah.
And I hugely appreciate that. But I think every little town area has a graphic company now, and everybody's supporting their local guy. So the graphic thing, you can't look at it as I'm going to make money. I think people do make money, but I'm not 100% sure how. Maybe it's because I have another business and I do it part-time. Maybe if I did it full-time and dedicated all my time and wasn't such a nice guy and gave people killer deals, I could make good money, but I don't know. It's not really what I want to do right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say it probably depends on your business, and I was going to bring that up, but you already did that. Like, you're kind of cool with, and you're busy enough with just the word-of-mouth referrals that you get mostly from local people, whereas it's like, why spend $5,000 even if you get 15 back, if you could even track that, which you can't really, but just depends on the business, I guess. Like with my real estate business, if I shut off the marketing, the entire thing fucking dies in 1 month. So but my marketing, it's all direct response, so I can track exactly, I spent this many dollars on this type of marketing and it yielded this much in profit. Right. So it's a totally different situation.
Right.
Yeah. No, I think when you're sponsoring someone, whether it's a youth soccer team or it's unfortunately a professional supercross team, at some point it's just brand recognition. That's all you can really bank on. And so like to polish up even more, I would treat Jamie differently than I would treat like Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, I have no problem taking your money. But Jamie or a smaller company, there's no one taking your money.
Oh, I have no problem taking Jamie's.
If you're going to throw it away in a podcast, give it to us.
Yeah.
I was going to talk to you about that, but
okay.
Oh, right.
Do I get
Put him
commission
on
on
the
that?
spot. Dude, 1%.
All right, cool. I'm good with that.
I was here.
I heard it and I was here. That's all that matters.
Well, what do you think of the Supercross season so far? I'm sure you've kept watching all of them, even if you're not at the races.
Believe it or not, I haven't.
Oh,
like
what?
I keep track of it. But like even like I was telling him, like people are like, oh, it must be really cool to go to the races, and every weekend it's like, dude, I don't watch the races. I literally don't watch the races, especially if you have a guy in 250A and 250B qualifying. I don't see a lap of any other qualifying all day because you're back doing video, you're back checking lap charts, whatever you're doing, right? And then same at nighttime, like if like the last main events I watched the last main event I watched was 2 years ago when Zach passed the watching last corner, and I'm glad I walked down for that. But typically either I'm back from the main event and I just want to clean up and go home because I have to fly out the next day, or we didn't make it in the main event and there's zero chance I'm walking out of the semi. I'm livid. I'm mad, right? Because then you spent like 4 days away from home for nothing. So yeah, I don't watch races, but I do keep track of it. Like I do know what's going on, and I wish I could say I thought Webb would do it, but it's pretty gnarly right now.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Well, so when you walked down for that Savachi one there, I was there that year too. It was That was the sickest race of all time, dude.
And I'll be honest, I cried. I cried a little. And I cried
cried?
again when I watched. 100% I cried because at the time we were on Kawasaki's, and it was like a manly cry. Let's be clear.
Okay.
But at the time we were on Kawasaki's and we had Commons, and Commons has like a really long-standing relationship with Pro Circuit test for them. So I was up top, just like in behind where the trophy presentations are, and like in between the track. And I was up there, and it was me, it was Zach's dad, and Bones, their suspension guy at the time. And I was just listening in, and nobody knew what was going on because at one point Smith had the title. At one point, Osmore did. At one point, Savacci did. At one point, Adam was a point away. And they did not, like... I remember hearing Bones, like, yesterday, he's like, what? What? Like, because on the radio, it's hard. He's like, Adam's a point away? Yeah, Adam's a point away. And he's like, oh my gosh. So they were in pure panic, right? And I was sitting with Glenn, and this was, like, maybe, like... It was just after Smith crashed his brains out. He goes... He was, like, kind of scoping Osmore. He's like, Osmore's going to catch Joy. I'm like, there's no way. So you watch the laps go by, you're like, oh my God. Then the last lap, he had to pass like Mel Ross and someone else before he could even get to Joey. And then he got to when he passed him. And like, when he passed him, everyone from Kai went running down the stairs, obviously to protest or do something. So I just followed him and Glenn. And when Zach came, he rolled in and we were all down there. I started crying. I cried a little. I did because his wife and his kid was there and it was nuts. It was just so emotional. And then I was showing my mom on the TV. I'm like, this is why I cried. And then I started crying a little bit again. Yeah, it was cool. And it was one of the best races I've ever seen.
That was sick.
The only other good one the last one I went and watched like as a spectator was the year that Villopoto and Dungey went at it at the Metrodome in Minneapolis. That was a sick race too.
Really?
And Dungey won. But yeah.
I
didn't cry on that one. Like I felt emotional because it was like really loud and it was cool. It was his hometown, but I didn't cry.
That was the only time that I've come off the couch when he won, when Osborne won.
Yeah.
Dude, that was crazy. I was like, dude, he's not going to do it. He's too far away right before the whoops, and just fucking so fast through there and just fucking cleaned out Spacci.
Yeah.
Dude, just fired
Dude,
up. Thinking,
Oh, wait, you guys don't like, you guys
we
not
don't
Savacci
like
fans?
Savacci,
Okay,
no.
okay.
Well, yeah, nah, yeah. Oh, well, he
we're
blocked.
fake Savacci
Do you not
haters.
know the Savacci story?
Well, you think you told me they got blocked or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's blocked like 20 plus of our fans.
You guys a lot hate that guy.
Does he?
Yeah, he does.
That's because he looks like Hitler Youth, dude.
Ooh.
You seen his haircut?
I see him every weekend, yeah.
Dude, tell him to unblock us, dude.
I'll tell him to unblock you, all right? I'll
Just like,
He obviously didn't listen to the episode because I sent it to Jerry, the driver for TLD,
Okay.
and he was like, so-and-so is close with Savacci. I'm going to have her show him this. And then he just started fucking blocking us. So I think if he heard it, he would have like fucking known that it's a joke. And
yeah.
it's only because he made the mistake of responding to JP
He
one
made the
time.
mistake of responding.
Never respond to you. Well, I think like that guy's been polarizing. I don't think a lot of people have liked him over the last few years. So I think that any little thing probably triggers him.
That's so weird that no one likes him when he's had the bad end of the stick for the last few years.
I don't disagree with you. It's weird, but
And
like,
he probably is like, what's going on with me, you know?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. What did I do? Yeah,
Dude,
no.
how do your riders take not making the main and everyone on the team's fucking pissed at him?
oh,
How does the dad take it?
Dads take it harder.
You're the dad?
Pardon?
You're the dad?
I'm-
Or the actual
The
dads?
actual dads.
Okay.
Yeah. We've had some pretty gnarly dads over the years. They take it pretty hard. I mean, it depends. Like, obviously, like, we've had every level of rider. Like, this year we have Mitchell Harrison, who came off Factory Husky last year. If he doesn't make the main, we're pretty upset. And we had a rough start to the year, and nobody was happy. It was pretty, like, quiet dinners and pretty quiet everything for a while. And then there's guys, like, you know, we're never going to be, like, we're not, this is the other crazy part about it is, like, I don't walk into Yamaha and say, we're going to win races. We're going to challenge for podiums. I'm not going to do that. What we are is we are a team that is going to show up at the races with the best presence we can, you know, have as far as activating for our sponsors. And we want to put in the main event. From there, if we're 15 to 20 with most of our guys, we're fine with that. But like, obviously Mitchell's different. We wanted Mitchell to be in the top 5 and it hasn't panned out that way. But the tricky part of that is we got guys a lot of times that are kind of a coin flip. So I can't really say they get too mad, but it's really fun when they get in. I think the happiest I've ever been at a race is with Leonette. I mean, he moved here from South Africa 6 years ago, and he rode Supercross for like 3 or 4 years. And the only reason, to be completely frank, the only reason why he ended up on our team was in 2017, I had no riders left. None. I called him like, hey, you're on a Cowie. Can I just get you to change your gear? I'll put graphics on your bike and let's go racing. So he raced one race for us and broke his jaw. And then, but he did me a solid by trying to come race for us that we brought him out the next year. And he had another complete year of, I think, not making mains. And then after, 5 years, and he lived here by himself and his parents gave up so much, he made the pass on the last corner to make the main event last year in San Diego to the LCQ. That's the happiest I've ever been. And it's almost, having Mitchell this year, it's almost like I kind of prefer to go to the races with a lower expectation, because I could tell you, like, it stings way more when you put, because like a guy that's in 15th to 16th compared to the amount of resources you have to put in a guy that just comes from the factory and is expected to be a top 5 guy isn't even on the same planet. So when you underachieve on that side, it hurts, and it doesn't level out to how good it feels when you're over, like, you know what I mean? On the other side of it, it's way better that way. So yeah, it's gnarly.
I always wonder too, like, how much of getting a ride on any team really is like politics versus, like you just said, that dude's on your team because he did you a solid back in the day. Whereas, like, I've heard some stuff about the Stewart family. I don't know, but Malcolm wins a title and then doesn't have a ride at all on 450s the next year. Like, how do you pick riders? I guess, like,
it's literally like a puzzle, because like some riders come with relationships that you want, and then some guys, those people don't want those guys. Like for example, Zach Commons. Zach Commons was a really good rider. He was a main event guy, really good amateur, had a bad crash at the end, but Zach was well liked by everyone. And that came with a lot of amenities. Like we never had to worry about him for spec tires. And if we couldn't do something for him, usually Pro Circuit or Kawasaki would step up and do it, because he tested when he did a solid. I mean, that played a factor, because he's not lighting the world on fire, but he brings something to your team, and he's a good kid. Where it's someone that doesn't really bring anything to the team and expects to like make a salary or is a pain in the ass to test with and brings nothing to the team. I mean, we don't want those guys. Actually, Bradley's mechanic said to me at the beginning of the year when we were kind of putting together our roster, he's like, dude, you got to be careful. It's quality of life. And what that is like, be careful what you wish for of who you sign and what you get, because this doesn't pay my bills, right? This is something that it is profitable if you do it correctly, but it's not sustainable for the rest of my life, right? Does that make sense? So I'd rather just get guys that are cool guys to be around, that are going to make the main event and just be a good representation of sponsors. Like we had to film with Scott Champion. Scott Champion has like 40,000 followers, well liked by fans. We didn't expect Scott to top 10. We expected Scott to come in, warm up in the heat race, and then get the whole shot in the LCQ and just be a veteran and make it in, right? But he's just as valuable as a guy that might cost $100,000 and then just be disappointing and not make main events or crash out.
Yeah, I've always wondered about that, especially with Instagram. Like, personally, if I had a team, like, I'd rather have 7 Deuce Deuce on my team than fucking Joe Schmo that can make more mains than him. Just because your marketing dollar will go farther, because he has like 80K followers. He can market to way more people throughout the week, even if he's not in the main, versus the dude, it's like so-and-so won the LCQ, you look him up and he's got 1,200 followers.
Yeah. No, and that's not wrong in a team like ours. I mean, we do look at that. It's huge. For like Hondas and the Cowies and all the bigger teams, it doesn't matter. They don't care one bit. They're paid to win. We're not paid to win. We're not expected to win. And the minute we ever, like if Mitchell came on our team and at the first 5 rounds he went like 4-3, 5-5, you know what would happen by round 5? Yamaha would have took him from us, which is just how it goes. He'll probably get plucked, right? The best case for us scenario is to have a guy that comes in under the radar and then succeeds beyond anyone's imagination. But what's going to happen, he's going to leave you because he's going to go somewhere with more resources. So you're never going to pass that threshold. So you're better off worrying about yourself on the marketing end. And that's what we do. That's when I say like be a profitable business. Like I'm more worried about our video loops outside where you do the video loop, stuff like that, promo models, Rockwell's activation, everything like that. I'm more worried about that, as crazy as it sounds, than the results. If the results come, that's great. But it's not what pays our bills.
That's so funny. I would never guess, like, walking through the party in the pits is like, this team's more concerned about what's going on right here, like, versus what's out there. I mean, not more, but, you know, the fact that the videos are playing and you guys can market. And because actually walking by that pit is probably one of the most, I don't want to say like set up, but with like different products and shit, all the Rockwell displays and all that, compared to some of the other, like the factory ones where all it is the bikes, and then you see fucking Baggett eating chicken, and that's it.
That's it. Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
ice cream, bro.
Oh yeah. That's
Well,
right.
what they do is they exact ice cream. Yeah, they have their pit, right? They have their pit and they have their hospitality area.
Mm-hmm.
They have no reason to have an activation area because they pull in because they have rocks in, right? So they sell the idea that we have Ken rocks in. That sells itself. We don't have that ability. We have to sell them. Like I basically tell the sponsors I have a 20 by 20 or I have a 20 by 20 activation area in the back. What do you want to do? Anything you want to do that Feld will let me do, I'll do. And then Rockwell we have some hospitality at the front and Rockwell has their setup. But I basically give them free reign, whatever they want to do.
Does Rockwell, like, do they see watches selling and stuff there? And
Well, we don't sell watches at the event. So we can't sell. Like there's huge restrictions by Feld in order what you can do. Like we did a metal horn fingers last year. I had to get that approved. And I basically had to
the foam fingers.
Yeah, the foam fingers for nuclear blast. Yeah, so I had to get those approved. Then they approved the quantity, what round I could do it at, how many I can give it at that round.
Damn.
Yeah, they don't let us sell anything.
Oh, that's
and,
nice.
and the stuff we do activate with, we can't make T-shirts to give them away. We're not supposed to give away stickers. We're not supposed to give away anything. Because how it works is they sell T-shirts. So if we start selling watches and T-shirts at our truck, and somebody comes over with $150 cash, they're less likely to spend the money at Feld's trailer to buy a Feld T-shirt.
Damn,
which I understand. I mean, I get it, man. Feld's a promoter. They have Disney on Ice. They have Monster Jam. They have guys that are in tune with the idea of it, but they're not concerned about us making money at the races. They're there. It's like a carnival to them. You know what I mean? It just equates to the circus for them.
Yeah.
So
That sucks, dude. That sucks.
So-
Anti-Feld.
no, we like Feld. Actually, we were anti-Feld for a while. So Atlanta, right? Last year, Atlanta, everyone told us there's these wicked indoor pits, and it's kind of like Seattle. It's a convention center, and it's a crazy lots of people. So okay, cool, man. Because when it comes to an East-West shootout for a team like ours, it costs so much money to go east that last year we didn't go to Indy because I told the guys at the beginning of the year, if you're top 20 in points or you have an average qualifying time of this, because you have to either qualify top 20. Yeah, you have to qualify top 20
because it's twice as hard to qualify for the East-West. Yeah.
So even if you qualify top 20 into the night show, you then have to make it through a heat race that is essentially a main event.
Yeah.
Because it's your own coast. And then from there, if you don't make it through there, you go to the LCQ, which is a murderer's row of LCQ because it's both coasts. So sometimes a lot of guys don't go. So we obviously have Mitchell and we believe in Mitchell. So we sent the semi out to Atlanta NASCAR first. We displayed at Atlanta NASCAR. And then from Atlanta NASCAR, I was going to the stadium. I get a phone call on Monday from Feld. The girl that parks there says, "Hey, I see your truck here." I'm like, "Okay, cool." She's like, "You're not parking your truck." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "You're not parking your truck. We have tents set up for you guys this weekend." Which is totally cool. I'm not a snob. I don't care if I work out of our semi or our easy up. It's till we can do that. Because they do that on the East Coast all the time. They go under the belly of the stadium when they set up. But the problem is we fly staff out from Rockwell. We invite companies that Rockwell works with and we order catering. There's a bunch of things that go on every weekend that we basically host, right? So now all the tickets we bought to host, all the catering we've ordered, all that stuff is out the window, and we got a 10 by 20 tent. And basically, it was like a fair race, right? Which again, is totally fine. No one told us.
Yeah.
Then they tried to tell us "Oh no, well, we didn't know." I'm like, "So you're telling me when you signed a stadium lease that they just randomly had a convention midway through? There's no way. You knew and you didn't tell us, and it's crazy you didn't tell us." So there was a bunch of people that drove their semi out. They parked us probably 1.5 miles away from the stadium in an empty parking lot. We had to get a minivan, pack it, and just take loads. And they just parked all their activation trucks, like the Toyota truck, the Cooper tire truck, whatever they have in there. So right now I'm upset with Feld. But we talked about it, we're cool, but I'm still a little upset about that. I'm mad about that.
Yeah.
What do you guys spend on an average race weekend?
Depends. The first run of West Coast, I mean, we can keep it pretty down. We could do Anaheim for maybe $5,000. Mm-hmm. But when you start going like we're going to Denver, even Atlanta. I mean, Denver and Atlanta is probably $10,000, $12,000 depending on, because you're thinking you're flying mechanics, you're flying riders, you're flying us, and then Rockwell's flying their staff. The semi's getting out there. Also, we need hotels, rental cars, and then heaven forbid, and food, and then the bikes are another story if they break or they don't break. But I mean, bikes you could probably average out costing about $1,000 a weekend per bike on average, because sometimes you can get away with getting a couple races out of them before they let go or cause problems.
Do you have like motors and stuff on?
Yeah.
So if you were to have been told you only get the tent area at Atlanta, would you still have motors and stuff?
Well, guess what? We swapped a motor in Atlanta. We had to swap a motor in Atlanta because we had a tranny problem after he missed the second qualifying session. He basically second, third, fourth gear went away. So we had to switch a motor out, and it was not easy. Luckily, we had the rolling case for the motor. But long story short, I sent Queasy out there. He had to run out because they weren't letting anybody come in. We couldn't come in with our van on Saturdays, so he had to run down there and then pull that thing back up. It was like 3 miles.
Damn.
So there's no way around it. And they have they have all those bird scooters all over Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So all day Saturday or all day Friday and most of the day Saturday, they were letting us come in and out with the birds. But once the pit party started, they shut all the birds down. Because who was champion needed a pair of boots. So I jumped on the bird, I cruised down on the scooter, I put the boots on the top of the scooter and I cruised back. It was nice. But by that time I got back, you can't bring this in anymore. The day was shot.
Dude.
I was just thinking about your guy on one, and then he has another one with the motor on it strapped to it, and he's riding.
It's not a bad
riding through.
It would have to be that'd be sketch.
Yeah. So, do the riders on your team, they don't get a salary?
No.
So how do they make money?
So typically the way we structure it is obviously they make their purse money. Mm-hmm. And then they make their contingency through the brand. So they just need basically the VIN numbers from our bikes. And then we bonus them out. So we structure them so let's just use Tech 1, for example. I say to Tech 1 when I'm negotiating what they're paying me, then I'll negotiate a contingency, like a ladder contingency based on results. And most of the prominent moto brands, say Bars or Sprockets or whatever it is, they have it already built in, ready to go. So the minute you sign a deal with them, you get that contingency. So, but just Joe Schmo, the RACER SUPERCROSS that has a Kawasaki or a Yamaha or whatever it is, depending on the price, they could still make probably $2,400 to make a main event. That's it.
From the manufacturer?
From manufacturer and from Feld. And then whatever they'd get bonused out from their companies that are sponsored them. So maybe a really good weekend for a privateer would be $3,000, which is not very good.
Yeah.
I've had that argument every year almost when I talk to people, because I usually end up talking to their dads. And they're mad, right? Because they've been really good amateurs their whole life. They spent tons of money and then they turn pro and they're talking to this idiot from Canada who's telling them, I'm not paying anyone a salary. I'm not doing it. And it just doesn't make sense for us. And the numbers don't check out. And it sucks for them. But I always use this analogy. There's guys in the NFL that are filling up water bottles that are making more money than your kid's going to make as a pro. But you kind of chose this path. I can't help you, right? If and then when we negotiate with actual riders that are a little older, I need to make money. And I'm like, well, I guess get a job. I don't know what to tell you. I can't, unless it's just me giving you my money. As far as a budget goes, nothing checks out for me to give you money. And that's really, it's Feld, manufacturers, everyone from the top down. It's kind of all our own faults. I don't know how it got this way because obviously I've only been in it for 5 years from an operations side, but to get to this point where, like I said, a guy in the top 40 gate is gnarly.
Yeah.
It's a professional athlete. Those guys that are 40th probably don't have a real job because they need to train because they're professional athlete, right? But yeah, no. But Mitchell Harrison does okay. He still does okay. Obviously not as okay as he did when he was at Rockstar.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how the fuck does he cope with going from a factory team to no salary?
A guy and we're really aware, a guy like Mitchell, he was a victim of amateurs coming up and there being no room on that team. And the one thing I could say about Mitchell is he's a really good kid for 2 reasons. We obviously had a lot of mechanicals at the beginning of the year, and he was so cool about it. Mm-hmm. I've seen guys break their helmets and kick their bike over and throw gear and be a pit. He was a pro. He was really cool about it. And I could say behind the scenes, Rockstar and Husqvarna did everything they could to try to put him on really good equipment somewhere. They tried everything to keep him on a Husky and try to get him somewhere because he's such a good kid. And they didn't want to let him go. But unfortunately, the higher up you go, the harder it is to it's not that black and white. So they had amateurs coming in, he had to go. But when we get a guy like Mitchell, we know that like I said earlier, best case scenario for him is to get a couple good results and get picked up on a fill-in ride. Just like McAdoo got picked up by Geico, right? Mm-hmm. That happens. We get that, and I would drive him there. I would never be mad about it. So,
have you ever had someone that could bring their own sponsors almost, like as far as the team, and then like a 7 Deuce Deuce or something that's got if he could pursue like his own sponsorship and make money, would you guys be cool with that?
Absolutely. I mean, we've done that, and I could tell you there's factory teams. There's been rides over the years, not factory teams, but like really good satellite teams where that person has basically bought their whole ride. And for the main reason is because when you're like on a team like, not even ours, but like let's say a team like BTO or Moto Concepts, I mean, those guys have the ability to get certain things that you off the street can't get, whether it's from Honda or from whoever, whether it's a crank, a transmission, something like that. But if you align yourself with those teams, sometimes you're able to just, hey, I'm bringing my own sponsor. You don't have to pay me anything. I'm going to buy this stuff, but I'm going to ride for your team because this is how I'm going to get that stuff. That's happened.
What do you mean? Someone else?
No. I know that was a lot. I probably didn't do a good job explaining.
Dude, so someone else comes in with their
time out. You're a millionaire. Yeah. You're pretty good at riding a dirt bike. Honda has an extra spot. They paid Roxon $10 million. They have no more budget. You come in and say, hey, I got $1 million. I don't need a salary. I just need a mechanic. See these bikes and these parts? I'm going to buy them. And I'm going to ride onto your truck. Then you're going to have a second guy. I'm not saying I'm not saying 100% definitely it's happened, but it's happened.
Damn, dude.
Not at like Honda's level. Obviously.
That was
not
Roncada?
Like no.
That was Roncada, huh?
No.
Emig?
Imagine? No. But yeah, like, no, so I mean,
I don't have money,
I've heard stories of that happening. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. So
someone with like rich ass parents could like kind of buy their way onto a team if you did it like that.
Yeah.
Huh. Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
But yeah,
that'd probably get so much shit talked, I bet.
Yeah.
Huh.
Don't you think that kind of happens in the amateurs, though?
Yeah, kind of the same thing, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta have deep pockets to do this shit with no help to do it right.
Yeah, man.
There's good amateur riders out there, but their families don't have a lot of money, and the teams aren't gonna take a chance on it.
Yeah, we were talking about that with Sam, and I think with Tierney too. Like, so crazy to me that like any of the brands, Cowie, Cobra, Husky, like how they can take a chance on a 8-year-old. I guess I think more so now with Instagram, like every 8-year-old has an Instagram, so like they could probably get an ROI on signing these kids now. But especially like when Cincerillo was a kid, like how the fuck does Cowie put so much faith into a kid? Because those guys are getting paid at,
in a clever way,
yeah.
But like he's a perfect example. Was I talking to you about this? I was having a chat with someone, and Adam's a perfect example of why you shouldn't do that. I mean, it's worked out okay, but like, for example, Adam's career was pretty close to being. It wasn't looking good for a while, and I think a big part of it was when he grew so much. So like, there's a bunch of things to take consideration when you sign a kid that young. Eventually, that kid's gonna hit puberty. You're also hoping in the next 8 years that kid's not going to change as far as his mental outlook or his parents or whatever it is. I don't really get it. I don't understand it. And if you think about it, like for him, like sometimes I give him crap about being a moto dad, or I say don't do that or don't do this. But the reality is this: is like say for Mitchell, has Mitchell made like $1 million, $2 million in the 3 years he's been a pro? I don't know. I don't know. But let's say I have no inside knowledge of what a kid like Mitchell or Zach Commons or anyone's ever rode for me spent. But I gotta imagine when you're like on the top level of an amateur, from the time you're 6 years old till the time you're 16 or 17 and turn pro, I bet you're averaging at least spending $100,000 a year.
Oh, I've heard it's easily $100,000 a year.
So okay, so let's just look at it from an investment standpoint. How much money do you have to make as a pro to even make sense of that?
Yeah.
And then at that point, is your kid an investment, or is he your kid? And then what if the kid just turns 18 and says, dude, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah. Or he has an injury that stops it. I mean, to me, it's like they should make homeschooling. You shouldn't be allowed to, there's no way to police it though. It's like any sport. There's no way to police it, but it's something, I don't know. I think it's a risk that there's better things to take risks on, I think.
I mean, that's kind of the other side of it for the parents though. It's like kind of a bad thing that the kids can get this, but if you're the parent and you're gnarly moto dad and you're spending all this money, you're taking out a second mortgage on the house and all that stuff, and then Cowie comes up and says, hey, we got everything from here on out and you're going to make $50,000 a year to do this, like the dad's not going to say no.
No, he's not. No. But I don't know.
I feel like I'd say no.
Would you?
Yeah. I just don't think the sport is worth it. I think college is way more important than getting a real job. I mean, look at these guys, Mitchell, whatever, no salary.
Yeah. It's not likely.
No, I tell
Very
Ollie all the
unlikely.
time, like, I'm not saying you can't do this because I don't want to ever take a dream away from a kid, but
Yeah, but I don't blame the parents or the parents for taking the deals. I mean, they'd be stupid not to take the deals.
Yeah.
I'm just really surprised that it's just even on the table at this point. Because like I know I listen to Puff Mac sometimes, and you always hear him talk about like a guy like Chisholm, and it goes back to what I said about not even a 40-man, but a 20 guy main event. The fact that those guys can't make a living is criminal. It's absolute criminal. You know how much money is going through like the stadium for the concessions, for the tickets, for the merchandise, for all those things. Because it's weird, like we're not allowed to sell t-shirts. But are you going to tell me all the merchandising and the sales you do at the races isn't a direct correlation with the guys on the track?
Right. Yeah, I think we've talked about that before too. Like the actual payout from the race is a fucking joke, dude. 12 grand for a 450 win. Like if you're one of the 3 guys that can fucking win a race, 12 grand's not shit to you. And then the payout for like a 250 20th place is what, a couple $100 or something?
The top 20?
Yeah,
like
if you get
if you get like whatever it is in the main event, I think it's like if you start the main event, I think, and just do a lap, you get $500. It's something. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, it's not enough money for what they do and what we all spend. But yeah, I don't think it'd be nice if they didn't even like we pay to race, right? Mm-hmm. So we pay to go there, we pay to physically sign up, we pay to be there.
They failed.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy too.
Well, we
I've
pay
read
AMA.
about that.
Yeah.
Like you're still signing up like you are at a local race. Like fucking, you go to Fernley and you pay $35 for a class.
Yeah.
You go to Supercross and you have to pay to sign up. Can you imagine?
We have to buy our hard cards.
Like fucking NFL players going and like, oh, you got to pay to play.
Well, let's look
today.
at the rest of the Feld stuff. The Disney on Ice. Do the people performing on Disney on Ice pay to perform?
No.
Or do they get paid to perform?
Yeah.
But
That's crazy, dude.
It's not Feld though. It's just the way it is, and it's like I said. At some point, there's a tipping point where this is how it is. It's never going to change. It will never change. So either don't race or race, right?
Do you think it'll go the way of becoming more like Monster Jam in the future, where it's only the fucking top guys and there's no such thing as a privateer anymore?
Actually, the way I've heard, Rich Taylor was telling me he's been in meetings with Feld. I think I was telling you about this. That they have talked, they want to control Supercross. They want to say who's going to win and own everything, just like Monster Jam, which would be horrible because then what do these kids grow up to aspire to be?
I think, though, the difference between like Monster Jam and this is I don't think that FIM or AMA would ever allow that to happen. Like there's too many, it's not that black and white. I think that is a possibility. I just don't think, it's not likely. I don't think you could take a competition sport and turn it into Monster Jam.
Dude, how fucking ghetto would it be if you could show up with your own truck to Monster Jam?
I think that'd probably be way more profitable.
That'd be so
Dude,
sick,
half of Sun
dude.
Valley would be at the fucking...
Or just amateur on Sunday, ride the course.
Dude, that'd be sick.
We shouldn't tell Feld that. They'll probably do it. We should just
Dude, we should
somehow,
pitch it.
yeah, we should pitch it.
20%.
20%.
Check.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, that's sick that they're doing futures now, though. I mean, more than they have. I don't know if that's better than not having arena cross, but kind of and kind of not. I mean, it sucks that we don't have arena cross here, but it's cool that the kids can go and race on a real Supercross track, kind of.
They should have arena cross, but they should have it staggered with Supercross. I can't believe they went head to head. To me, that just makes so weird. It doesn't make any sense.
Feld should have bought that.
Arena cross? Feld did have arena cross, but they should have.
Unreal.
Yeah.
What are they doing? Yeah, they went.
They go against each other, which was weird to me because I think arena cross is good. Although I will say that so we had Brees last year, Ryan Brees, and he won like the lights 2 years in a row, and I don't think it translates as much as people think. I think for like every one guy that successfully translates from either way, I think there's 20 of them that don't. You know what I mean? So, but the amateur thing's cool. I know he was gonna ride it, but tipped over. But no,
there.
Yeah, it's cool though. We last year we stayed set up a couple of them and just let the kids pitch under the truck. And no, it's good. It's good to have kids on Supercross. But I think it was. I don't like the idea of the points. I'll be honest with that. The points thing. I think that there has to be. I think they just need to make exceptions. Like I know that sounds weird, but I don't think there should be actually. You shouldn't have to be forced to go to certain areas to get your points. Like a Rares, I don't think. At
what they
level,
do back in the day, like when Emig turned pro. What was it? Just a card, right?
It's a card. Well, I think you used to have to be like an A-class rider with a certain amount of points, and then you were able to race Supercross. But like when like Dylan Ferrandis comes over, I mean, he didn't get a Supercross points. You know what I mean? Jess Pettis came from Canada. He didn't get a Supercross point. So they make exceptions for international riders. But if for example, like Slushy, the guy that we're trying to get to turn pro, he literally can go right now and probably be a top 30 guy and make the Nitro no problem. He can do it. But then there's guys that can go like, this is going to be a weird example, but like Vicky Golden got her Supercross points.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. It's really cool, and I think that's awesome. But the way I don't understand how she got her Supercross points. Obviously, there's something wrong because she couldn't. When she'd come to the races, you could tell that she wasn't entirely comfortable on a Supercross track. I think the only one she made was Vegas when there wasn't enough guys for an actual East lineup. I think. Don't quote me, but so I don't think that was actually even a viable solution to getting guys points. And then you take like DiFrancesco and Sexton and those guys. You tell me those guys need to go race in Poughkeepsie, wherever the heck it is, to Arena Cross to get points.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too when they changed it to that. Because there was like two extremes. Like fucking great example was Damon Smith, dude, Mr. Swagger 490. Remember him? He's from like, you know him? He's from like, I don't know, 4 years ago. If you just type in Mr. 490 on YouTube, it'll be the first one. And he's this dude, and I guess he used to be a pro football player, and he's a halfway decent rider now, but and maybe he's just better at outdoors because he was at Hangtown. I think he's from NorCal, but he's like your age, I guess, because Rich Thorwaldson raced against him, and he sent me you sent me the no, not the video, but the results.
That was Rich.
You fucking raced against him too because you were in the results.
Oh,
but
you mean at the Hangtown?
Yeah.
What points did he get?
James
Swagger beat him, but
He was fast.
Yeah, because he sent me and he beat Rich in the first moto, and I sent it. I was like, dude, sorry, lost a customer. Can't believe this guy beat you. All this shit, but yeah, if you type in Mr. 490 on YouTube, this guy, he was out there like trying to qualify for Supercross, fucking rolling through the whoops. He would hit the triple, but just boned out and fucking tweaked. Like sketchy as fuck. He looked like a novice rider out there.
That's like Ronnie Ford. Remember that dude on the two-stroke not this year, but last year and the year before? That dude's like 36.
He was out there at the same time as Adam. And so I was asking, I was like, dude, what's up with that? And Adam's like, dude, I think he just went to like 40 fucking AMA sanctioned motocross events and got 1 point at a time and got his car.
He was grandfathered in, I believe. Oh, okay. I know who you're talking about now. He was an FXR, right? That guy?
Not the guy he's talking about.
But Ford.
Yeah, Ford.
Yeah, that guy was grandfathered in. But did you go to the amateur Supercross in Oakland? Was it in Oakland? Mm-hmm. Did you go to it?
Yeah.
It's not even a Supercross track.
Yeah,
so in the other way, you take like Styles Robinson, all the fast kids right now, like Shimoda, whatever his name is, they're not even riding a Supercross track. So to make those kids go ride a Supercross, that track to get points, again, it's just, I don't understand any of it. It's really weird.
It's hard. I could see why it's hard because they have 50 juniors out there.
That's what they should have out there, but it should have nothing to do with qualifying for points. I don't have the answer. I just know that.
Well, I heard next year possibly they're going to do something on Saturday night for the 250 featured kids.
I'm fine with that too.
A-class?
Just you mean like the All-Star, just like the All-Star Monster Cup.
Exactly.
That's fine.
On Saturday night.
That'd be sick.
Because
Get rid of that makeup to mud and just.
You don't like the makeup to mud?
No.
Oh, dude, we're huge makeup to mud haters.
Dude, yeah, it sucks. Like just stick with the Toyota replay and have a couple trucks out there and have your booth, but cut the mud stuff. You could save a lot, you know?
Someone was saying they should have like, and I like the idea, like when you watch like football, there's like a panel. That's what they should do. They should have a panel of guys that like talk about it and like replay stuff in between things and just have them up there, like, kind of like Race Day Live is, how they have them set up on a stage. Mm-hmm. Have that, but have like a panel of 4 guys, have someone lead it, and then just talk about it in between the races.
Dude, that's what they need now for if you have the NBC app or whatever.
Or just when it goes,
I'm like, dude, I kind of want to watch a commercial. I don't give a fuck if it's the same Toyota commercial over and over. We're just like sitting there on our phones, not saying shit.
Yeah,
that's what they should have in between.
Yeah,
that'd be
100%.
sick.
Yeah. No.
Even if it was like, well, isn't Mathis doing like live podcasts and shit? Because we walked by in the pits at Oakland and they were like recording. Yeah, that'd be sick if those guys were on there.
Yeah.
Anything.
What are they doing? You know,
Make up the mud, dude.
Make up the mud.
It
Yeah.
is too quiet though during those commercials.
Yeah.
I think my TV's broken.
Yeah. Like,
You
what's
turn
going
it
on,
up,
dude?
and then Ralph.
It's kind of weird that they don't double dip. I'm like they could just put a commercial here and make more money, and
You're not
no one
wrong.
would say shit.
Well, I never ever thought of it that way, but you're not wrong. I can't. That makes even less sense.
Yeah,
We should
weird.
definitely have commercials.
They make everyone pay.
Take,
so they're
take it
making
$20
money that way,
less.
but-
Yeah.
Yeah,
$20 less.
Well, don't they
Per person.
advertise it as commercial free?
Yeah.
maybe that's it.
But hold on a second. Like you said, I mean, if you're gonna have a break, when I think of commercial free, I think of like Netflix. There's nothing breaking up my entertainment. But if you're gonna break up the entertainment,
Still has the commercial break.
yeah, it still has a commercial break. You got off on a technicality there, but there's definitely a break.
Doesn't say commercial break free.
No,
Yeah.
It's commercial free.
That'd be what they should just do, where you can hear the riders talking, where they're like, I was trying to hit that double, like fuck
Like
that
in
guy.
football, how they have the guys
Yeah.
with the huge thing, like at the sidelines, they have that pointed towards the pits.
Yeah,
That'd be sick.
you just hear, fuck Savachi, fuck Savachi.
I don't think no. Everyone likes Savachi.
Clean me out. That'd be sick.
Savachi.
You should do that, JP.
I
You should
would
be
do
that
that. At Oakland, I got nervous, and I was gonna tell him to go to bed.
Oh,
and
dude, he
I
was so close.
Were you in his autograph line?
It was so long because they had all 4 or 5 people lined up, so it was all the way down to like.
It would have taken like 2 hours.
The move would have been for you to have a camera with you and then ask him to make it out to go to bed and then
that's
film his
what we were
reaction.
planning.
We were
doing.
planning to sign and say, "Hey, can you put 2 go to bed, Savachi?"
And then we saw him, and he was just going to scream it at him because you could get pretty close when you're not in the line, and he pushed out. And then we saw
There's
him.
a lot of people there, dude. He's right next to Tomac. I'm like, dude, like, I want this to happen, but I don't want that to happen. I want Tomac to go like, what the fuck was up with that guy yelling, go to bed? And then Savachi would be like, well, he fucking comment on my post, and everyone, just
I don't know that would happen though.
Yeah, dude, if I was yelling, go to Savachi, hey,
Joe,
Yeah.
Joe.
hey.
And then
Joe.
we saw him like in qualifying, or they were waiting to go out for qualifying, and he was standing there. I think he was he talking to Tomac then too, or he was talking to someone.
Yeah.
But we were kind of over like to the right, and we're like, dude, there he is. And he was standing there with his helmet off because the other group, it was in between, so it was quiet too. I was like, dude, let's run over like right on top of them. And we were pretty close, and he was like debating if he was going to do it, and he didn't. And then they fired up the bikes and started the next practice, and it was too loud.
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be bad, dude.
Well, dude.
Which is so weird because he never puts out for
I was
anything.
going to say, I
dude.
can't see you.
Yeah, I
fucking-
overthink it. I'm overthinking
Every time I'm in the car with him, we'll pull up next to anyone, and he's like, I'm going to get him with the keys. And he does this trick where he'll get the person to like roll down their window, and he goes like this, like, your keys.
They're in
And
your
then-
door, yo.
And then they'll roll down the window, and he'll be like, your keys are in your door. And they're like, what? Dude, we got this guy right at the top of the hill here on McCarran in a fucking 50-mile-an-hour zone. This guy got out of his car
Parked
at the
it, dude.
light, and then it turned green, and we took off, and he was outside of his
Looking for
car.
his
Like,
keys.
yeah, he's looking around and shit.
It's like, dude, your car's running. You're in it.
Did you ever explain that to them after they look?
No, we're always
You already got
going.
it.
We're always going. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
funny.
We had to run away after
I've never
that.
heard
You don't know
that.
who you're going to piss off.
No, I've never heard
keys.
that.
Dude.
But he does shit like that all the time, and he wouldn't say go to bed.
Are you scared of Savachi?
I just don't like he's a gnarly dude. I have a
Just
lot
a
of respect for him because what he does. So I also, when you respect someone, you don't want them to not like you. And
That
you
ship
know.
has sailed, dude.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
If you
Yeah.
interviewed him, what would you ask him?
yeah, I'd ask him, dude,
Unblock me?
Yeah, unblock me. And why'd you get so offended, dude? I'm not Osborne. There's been way worse done to you. Like this little thing. Come on.
It was crazy that night with Osborne. It was crazy to you look here and it's just absolute elation. Everyone's crying and celebrating. And you look to the right and Joey was saying there was a mechanic and his dad. And it was just like, you couldn't help but feel for him. You're like, oh.
Yeah.
And he's just looking at his mechanic. He's like, I didn't know he was coming. And like in his defense, he was probably like pacing him. Because you can pace guys when you're out there, obviously.
Yeah.
I guarantee he was pacing them. And it's by the time you hit the mechanic area, when you hit it again on that last lap, you're at the finish line. So it's a bad spot for it. Zach made up so much time in that last lap that I guarantee you there's nothing the mechanic has said to him to make him aware that he was coming. Because at the beginning of that lap, we didn't think there was any way he was getting past Mel Ross. I don't know who else it was. It might have been Harrison, to be honest with you. Those are 2 really good guys that you have to blow by to even have a chance to get to.
Dude, he was ripping.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was the
crazy.
crazy. It was,
So he would have taken the inside? Would have you got past him?
Joey?
Yeah.
I think he would have just cleaned him in the next corner, probably.
I think, because if he would have went inside there, Zach would have railed and carried so much speed through that straight stretch before he went in. And then he, with that, unless Joey had enough time to cut him off, he would have had the inside on that. Just like when Anderson didn't Anderson clean out Reed?
Right there.
That's what would have happened. So he was down if you do, down if you don't. But in his defense, he had no idea it was coming at all ever.
Dude, that was crazy.
Dude, that was
awesome.
so crazy. That was the best time right there.
Ollie thought that was mean, and I was like, dude, if you wouldn't have taken that from somebody, I would have been pissed.
Oh, dude, that's How much do those guys win for a championship for 250?
Probably $500,000.
Yeah.
Because I think 450 is $1 million,
Yeah.
and then the other two coasts are 50 and 50. And I think outdoors is $1 million. Pretty sure, because it's basically the same thing. But I could be wrong.
$500,000, dude. I'm fucking ghost riding my bike into his head.
Well, it's like Anderson used to, like everyone always used to beg on Anderson before he won the title. And he's like, dude, if it's a 20 grand swing from fourth to third, or 50, whatever it is, I'm cleaning you out.
Yeah.
I'll clean out anyone for 20 grand.
Yeah.
And if someone tells me they wouldn't clean someone out for 20 grand, I don't trust them. I don't trust you. You're a liar.
Yeah.
I'd clean every one of you out. I'd clean you out twice.
Yeah.
I'd clean you out for eighth.
You got to ride a bike.
I wonder why they don't fucking 450 Supercross win. They're probably taking home 100 grand. Huh?
100 grand's probably the manufacturer bonus. Yeah. 100 grand.
Yeah, so say Webb wins one night, his bank account's 100 grand more.
100 grand plus the 12 grand from AMA and Feld.
Plus probably sponsors from the other
Red Bull.
Yeah,
I
bonuses
heard
from the
so
other sponsors.
Webb like he has no salary, but his bonus structure was like 200 grand to win. So that happens sometimes too. Like the year Dungey won, I know the year Dungey won, I heard stories how Suzuki, it was like 2 years later and they still hadn't finished paying him because his bonus structure was so insane.
Because they didn't expect him to win.
No, and he like just he railed off all those wins in the championship, and they're just like,
Awesome, but fuck.
that's got to be bittersweet. Yeah, so
That was his first year, right?
he was a rookie. Nobody thought he'd
Dude,
win.
that's crazy. It's got to be a money thing too. Why
Yes.
like guys stay in arena cross versus coming to Supercross? I assume they make more, maybe, salary on a good arena cross team versus not having one in Supercross.
So the way I understand it is, if you're winning in Supercross or in arena cross, you make good money. But if you're not winning, it's basically mid event money at Supercross. So like I can speak to this because last year we had Ryan Brees filled in for us from the arena cross team, and it was good in 17. And then last year in 18 we had him, and Josh Woods called me and said, "Hey, it was when Gavin Faith got hurt." And it was funny because when Gavin Faith got hurt, I told Clarkie on Sunday, I said, "We're getting a call from Cowie on Monday. I guarantee it." He said, "No, there's no way." And the backstory to that was because he filled in for us, and then Josh called and said, "Hey, is it cool if Brees rides a couple rounds where he's not riding for you guys for us?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, man. Like you helped me out last year, again, I'll help you out. It's fine." So Brees won the first 2 rounds that he raced on the regional time. And when Gavin Faith got hurt, it was only Jacob Hayes on that team, and Jacob Hayes had an okay point lead, but it was like Blows and someone else. Like Honda had 3 guys, and Cowie only had Jacob. So Cowie asked us if they could take Brees. Now at the time, Brees was kind of like Canzar wasn't running very well, and Leonardo made one main event. I'm like, dude, it's a tough one. Then I got talking to Brees, and he's like, "Well, dude, here's the deal. This is what I can make as far as bonus structure goes if I win." And like, pretty confident he's winning. Like in the regional one, you're basically racing against like a carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like there's no full time racers. I said, so I let him go, and he made more money. But if you're not winning, you're not making any money. It's even worse. Were you guys at Arena Cross last year? In Reno?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see him crash?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Who?
Ryan Brees?
I'm sure I did.
We'll show you.
Yeah.
I wasn't very happy about it when he sent me the video because he had to come race for us like the next week. But I was like, I'll just hold my breath. But he ended up being fine. I cannot believe he was fine.
You had to wear a bigger boot, though, right?
Yeah, but the way that worked out. So the way that worked out, in the sense of being perfectly honest, was I worked out a deal with. I said, dude, here's the thing, man. I have sponsors that pay me that I need a certain amount of rides on the track. You're my guy. Like, I can't just let you go. So I worked out a deal where there was some compensation sent our way if he won the title. So when he won every round, there was 2 rounds to go, and I'm like, I'm banking on this compensation at this point because I'm like, he's not gonna, unless he crashes, he's fine. And he's a bulldog. He crashes a lot. He sent me this. He sent me like the guy from Vital had like a screenshot, like the sequence shot of it. He sends me to, and I was scrolling down. I'm like, you got to be kidding me! You got to be kidding me! You got to be kidding me! And then he's fine, but I was pissed because if he crashed, we wouldn't have got the money. It would have been for nothing.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a crazy takeout session between Blows and Hayes.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
That's
I
our
don't like
Blows
that
is our guy here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's riding good this year.
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
not. I didn't expect. I said earlier about the transition to arena cross supercross. I did not think that either of those two would be that good on
Yeah,
the
they're
West
both
Coast.
ripping.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are. Hayes is actually.
Hayes. I would say Hayes is probably already at Star next year
Oh.
or TLD. I think that's probably already done.
Hmm.
He just they won't say anything because he's not going to ride outdoors, obviously. But I bet you, I'll bet you right now is if somebody goes out on Star or TLD that doesn't have like amateur kits coming up, I guarantee you they'll sign Hayes and then have him fill in outdoors and then he'll be there for Supercross next year. I don't have any information. I just think that's how it'll go.
Yeah.
It makes the most sense.
Do you, in the scene like that, do you guys, you might talk to other teams that go, that's just like that talk, like, oh, I might, you think maybe, honestly, what do you think about Stewart? Did you see his post?
Yeah.
What do you think? He's going to say he's retired, huh?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's over.
Yeah.
It's not. He's not coming back.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's
It was
done.
been over.
He's not coming back.
It's been over, but why so long? Do you know? Like, what's your guess?
If I had to guess, I'd say he's probably bitter about the whole water thing. I'd be mad because
Yeah,
no one
fuck
really like tried to have his back, whether it was Feld or AMA. No one had his back. If I was AMA or Feld and that happened to Stewart, because everyone said about like Tickle is like, well, it has to happen to someone big. I'm like, what happened to Stewart? Because like if I was AMA, I'd be like, dude, we're out. You guys are a joke. And I know like I think Tickle's going to be back for outdoors, but there's no guarantee. But same deal with him. Like they just ghost him because we're just a blip on the radar, right? And they're stuck to the whole idea of Olympic calendar where you're gone for 4 years because that's how they punish Olympic athletes.
Oh.
You can't do that with ours.
No, fuck no.
It's
That's
the
a
same
career
deal.
sometimes.
It's the same deal. Like me and Ryan always talk about this when it comes to guys. Like, say like we signed Mitchell in November and everything was banking on him, and then somebody gets hurt at Star, and on January 1st, Star calls us. We're letting them go. Their careers are way too short to hold them back from any sort of financial, income or anything to do with their career. You have to let them go. You can't hold them back. So it's the same deal with Water. Like I cannot believe. You're like with Tickle, you're not letting him race, and he has no way to make a living. Clayson, there's no way to make a living, and Clayson's the FXR gear guy, so I talk to him all the time. And just frankly, there's nothing. There's nothing to even discuss or talk about because there's literally nothing. They don't talk to him.
That was crazy when Tickle was on the Swap Moto deal, and he's like, "Yeah, I still don't have a hearing date."
Nothing.
I'm like, damn, dude,
Nothing.
it's wild.
Dude, can you imagine if you don't
Can
get
AMA leave the whole WADA thing?
I mean, it's not probably black and white dry, but I mean, they could just be after this. You'd be like, dude, we're done. We can't have you. UFC is an example. If you want to make something happen and get around WADA, I'm sure you can.
Yeah,
Right. I'm not a big UFC guy. I pay attention to what mainstream news is, and understanding from that whole Jones thing from the last one, they made it happen. They made that fight happen because they want to. And I believe that if you wanted Stewart back, you could have got him back immediately.
why did they fucking test him at all? That's what I don't get. I mean, we've talked about that on here before too, dude. I think fucking pro athlete pump those motherfuckers up with anything. I want it to be a spectating sport, dude. It should be like WWE, but for every sport. Like, just let them fucking do whatever they're gonna do.
Well, and the problem is too, it's like with something like that, not necessarily like motocross, but more so like UFC, like the people that have more money are going to be able to get around the testing and still cheat, where Cade Clayson can't. Cade's my friend, but he's an idiot who just didn't fill out his paperwork properly. He wasn't trying to cheat. He just screwed up, right? The Stewart thing's weird. That's fishy to me, the whole way they'd explain that. And the Tickle thing, we don't know anything about it. He's kept quiet about it. But the guys, even in our sport, our guys don't make enough money where they can chase and dodge drug testing and they're not going to cheat. But if you just let everyone cheat with some parameters, then it's probably way better off. But to not let guys take IVs out and outdoors should be criminal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So with Tickle, he hasn't said. No one said anything.
They're just saying that it was probably from the supplement he took.
Yeah, but he said it's in like everything.
Yeah.
It's in like tons of shit. Whatever they test positive for.
So it doesn't matter how much you test for. The minute they get a speck of it, you're flagged and you're done.
Damn.
But the whole thing with Tickle is what they're saying is everyone at that training establishment, like the Eldon tracks everything those guys take. Everyone's on the same regimen essentially, unless you have some sort of outstanding medical condition. I'm sure you take something else. But so basically, Alden said none of my supplements are tainted. That's what's probably not making a good case for Brock, right? Because then Alden's not going to say my supplements are tainted, because then they're probably going to go after, see if they can catch
Everyone.
Anderson, whoever else is there, Osborne, Marvin. Yeah, but,
They can test anybody anytime, right?
Yeah. So I'll be a rumor guy for a second. I know last year there was a guy that got hurt and took something that would help him recover faster. Because you can remember like testosterone, or I'm speaking of term, I'm a medical professional, but most of the time the things that you would take that would be performance enhancing also really improve recovery, right? There was a guy that was taking a recovery, did not think he'd be tested. Then he told his team like, hey, I got tested. Just so you know, this is what I did. The guy didn't race much to end the year off, and he never got caught. Yeah. So there's that. That's interesting. Because you hear all the stories about how they'll catch a picogram of this or a little gram of that. But I mean, as far what I've heard, this guy frankly was taking things at a normal, pharmaceutical level, and he never got flagged, and he tested for sure.
Did they
do pot?
Did they just because he was he like a big name?
No, not.
Do you think
big.
that's why they only want to bust the big guys?
I don't know. It's just weird that guy never got caught, because we were all waiting for him to get caught. Everyone was talking like, well, there's someone else coming down the line. It's going to be caught. And he never got caught. And caught's a weird term. It's saying he did something. He was just taking something to help recovery. He wasn't trying to. Whatever.
We talked about this last year. You told me who this was.
I told you who it was at the time and it was coming. It never came. I looked like an idiot.
Yeah.
But like, for example, but what Stewart took or what Clade had, they said he had a prescription for it, like an Adderall.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that I see a case why that would be beneficial to a dirt bike rider. That would be cheating. Just like there's some weird percentage of like how many MLB players have a prescription for Adderall.
Yeah.
Because like trying to hit the ball, being on Adderall would be helpful. So.
But wasn't that whole deal with Stewart kind of the same thing as Clade? Like someone fucked up his paperwork or something, and he had a prescription for whatever it was and all that?
Yes. But the thing about that is, and again, when you talk about like the higher end athletes compared to the, the further back guys as far as the income and talent spectrum, it's hard to me, I don't think it's not that I think he cheated or he didn't cheat. I just find it very, very hard to believe that someone in that team, of how many people he has working for him, like, because when at the beginning of the year, we sent our guys off to like a media session in Anaheim where they did like the video game renderings. WADA sits you down and explains to you, asks you if you have any questions, you sign off with your licensing paperwork, what you're agreeing to do. Everybody knows that if you're going to take something that isn't on the exempt list, you have to have a TUV for it. So to think that no one in his camp knew or submitted it is kind of meh. That's a tough one to swallow.
Yeah.
I've seen Reed tweet years ago about the IV thing for outdoors, that it was bullshit. Yeah. And that's crazy. I guess it's because they don't know what they're putting in. But if they're testing, then who gives a fuck anyway? But outdoors is so gnarly for the body.
Yeah.
And like that they can't rehydrate with an IV after the moto is crazy.
I think it's something to do with when you take an IV, you can get something in and out of your body quicker. Don't quote me. I think that's what they're doing so they can like microdose easier. I'm almost sure of. That's why you can't IV. So, but no, I don't disagree with you. I mean, some of the heat, I hate outdoors. I don't even go to Hangtown anymore because I don't want to be that hot and walk around.
Yeah.
So I definitely don't want to race.
Yeah.
At all, ever. And that's why we'll never do outdoors. And I don't like getting my shoes dirty.
I'm with you 100% on all points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you go to Hangtown?
I haven't I went maybe 2 years ago. I didn't go last year.
Yeah.
Same thing. I was like, dude, fuck this.
Too hot.
I went
Traffic.
2 years ago and watched it on NBC Sports on my phone under a tent.
Yeah.
Really?
You can't see
Outdoors
anything.
sucks to watch.
It's hard, yeah.
It sucks.
To
It's
see
not
one
cool.
spot of the track,
People-
out there all day.
Supercross
You're
is
right,
cool
it's better at
because
home.
you can sit up high at Supercross and see everything. People always hit us up for tickets and they like think they want low to the ground. You don't want low to the ground. Sit up high. You see the entire track.
Yeah.
Industry seating is the worst seating there.
Yeah.
Why is that?
That's my get out for getting people tickets. I'm like, you don't want the tickets we can get you because we really can't. We pay for our tickets.
Uh-huh.
There's something that you should broadcast this to the world. We pay for our tickets. So if you think that we get like 50 tickets around, hey, you can give me a couple tickets. We have to buy you tickets.
They're
damn.
$50 a piece.
Yeah, even the tickets we buy are $50.
Hey, can we get tickets to Vegas?
No. Yeah. Wait, if your filming costs, let's say like $500, I'll contract you for the day and I'll give you a ticket and feed you a sandwich.
All right.
That's a good deal.
I'm there.
Yeah.
You get 10 tickets for that. For 500.
No, he gets one.
Oh.
No,
And
but
I'll let you eat
could-
under the tent. I'll give you a tour of the truck,
All right.
like just in and out completely. I'll give
Maybe get me under there at time practice.
you if you want.
Hey, friendly champ 03. Let's see what we could do in Vegas.
I heard you talk about that in that one episode. You were asking about that.
Yeah. Well, it's big.
Do you have the
around
trophy still?
Here. Yeah, I got every trophy I've ever had.
He's got the championship jacket still.
Do you
that's
have
up
the
to
trophy?
here.
Yeah.
Didn't you work at a trophy place?
Yeah.
If I was you, I'd make the most ridiculously large trophy and just
Oh,
put
you
the
should
plaque
have.
on it.
Well,
And just put it behind here and just start it off every time to explain to people
I
what
have
that is.
I have like the Supercross looking one, but
Yeah.
for 03,
Yeah?
and it's at MX Trophies right next to Dungees.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny. It's where that gets done here locally?
Virginia City, bro.
Virginia City.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Take a step back in time.
I've done that. They got good ice cream out there.
Yeah, they did.
Fudge.
And pizza.
Pizza?
Yeah, Red Dog.
Dude, didn't a place just blow up there the other day?
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah,
A pipe leak. Literally
yeah?
blew up.
What is it?
I think it was a gas leak.
Yeah, but it was one of the bars.
Oh, down the strip? Like the main
Yeah.
strip?
Uh-huh.
So did it ruin everything around it?
Well,
Blew it all up.
yeah, it blew both. My friend Keegan, who was supposed to make the cheap sign and never did.
Shout out to him.
Yeah. He sent a video, and it was like it was on a corner of a street, and both fronts of the building were blown out. Like the building was still there, but like a 10-foot hole where the doors are was missing.
And nobody got hurt?
I don't know. I don't think so. No one lives there.
No, but it wasn't during work hours.
Well, even if it was, no one's there.
Oh.
It's Virginia City, you know.
I was gonna ask, like, what do people do there?
They
Look for
People that live
ghosts.
there, what do they do there?
look
They just-
for girls. Is that what you said?
Ghosts.
Oh.
Oh.
Go ghost hunting
Yeah.
every day in the same hotel.
The only reason I found that place is I was like on the way back from maybe like Dayton, and you just cut through to get down to Reno.
Mhm.
And I was driving, and I had no idea that place existed. And I said, what in the hell? That's a weird place.
Yeah.
Super weird.
But my wife's cousin, they have do they have a GNCC there or like a hair scramble there or something? The
That
Grand Prix?
Virginia City.
Mhm.
He won it like in like maybe 12.
Who did?
Rodney Spencer. But I should have known that's what that was, but I didn't put two and two together.
You ever done that race?
Yeah, I did it last year on
Did you?
your old bike, actually.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Is there
You
jumps
did
there?
this year?
No.
Oh
dude.
yeah, there was, dude.
Oh, no,
They
there
had
was.
a motocross section.
Is that the very bottom when you come back in?
Yeah, right after
Yeah.
the pits, dude, and it was what was it, a 180 and a 180?
Yeah, with a roller.
Dude, this fucking tabletop, you should have seen it. It was from here to the end of the table.
There was
Yeah.
guys scared
Sick,
to do
dude.
it.
Did you jump it?
Dude, I cleared it.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Did
cleared
you?
it.
So what class did you race?
What did we race?
Did you race
I don't
Saturday?
remember.
You raced too?
Saturday.
Yeah, I raced. Last year was my second year in a row doing it.
I was number 475. I remember that.
And
Yeah.
when is it? What?
April?
28.
It's coming up. Yeah.
I'll do it in 2020. That's what I'll do.
What's the deal this year?
No.
Dude, it's not that.
Don't even do it in 2020, dude. Don't waste your time,
No.
No,
Why?
do it.
dude. You don't like outdoors?
No.
Yeah,
But I'm
I
not
hate
going to
this.
ride indoors.
Well, it's a hard trail ride.
Yeah.
25
How long
miles.
did it take?
Like an hour.
It's like
20.
4 hours to finish.
No,
Mhm.
yeah, it's a 27
27
mile
miles.
loop, and you race for 4 hours.
That's like fast guys doing 4 hours or?
It's
Like,
time.
yeah, it's
Everybody
time.
goes
Everyone?
for 4 hours.
So they stop the clock at 4 hours, and then so if you're out there, you just started another lap, you have to do a whole another lap before you finish.
If you're 10 feet in front of the checkered flag before it comes up, you got 27 more miles to go.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Yeah, you got a whole
Dude,
other.
that race isn't that bad.
Dude,
It's-
it's fucking bad.
It's not that bad. That's why I'm able to do it, but it's gnarly for sure. Like,
It's not that bad as in like hard as
Hard,
fuck.
yeah.
It's not like a hard enduro or something,
Right.
but it's just like
4 hours is
Retarded.
gnarly.
On Supercross suspension, can you do
Yeah.
it on Supercross suspension?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
you'd love
I
it.
would
Dude.
suggest that.
Mhm.
no way, man. No way.
Dude, what suspension do you have?
Cartel?
Yeah,
What?
exactly.
Cartel, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're big in Mexico.
Cartel back, dude.
Cartel suspension.
Yeah.
Pro Tune.
I don't think you've even washed your bike since VC.
Why would
once,
You don't wash your bike?
I do sometimes when it rains.
I'd fire you.
when it rains.
That's
Dude,
your
you
son.
would fire me. My bike skills, not good.
I only got mad one time this year at my mechanics, and it's because they, like, by Oakland, I finally said to them, why don't you guys wash the fucking boots before the night show? I'm not washing. I'm like, you're not washing. You wash the boots before the night show, or I'll bring the pit board down. It drives me nuts. I can't stand dirty stuff. Did you
I
agree?
wash all these boots every time you ride.
I actually gave you shit yesterday for not having your stuff clean in your garage, your bike.
That's because I have to go to work.
Because you raced on Sunday and you didn't have it washed by Tuesday. That's unacceptable.
I washed it.
I
on
agree.
Tuesday.
Yeah, he's the same way, dude.
Wash your
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah, but do you have 3 kids,
Oh,
a
God.
wife?
I had 2 kids.
2 businesses.
Yeah, and you got 2 kids, 2 businesses.
Wash
Yes.
your bikes and your boots.
No wife. Yes to everything else. But my kids are a little bit less labor intensive than yours.
Yeah, no wife because he's married to the game.
Try to get more bags.
I got to deal with kids with homework.
Dude,
Oh yeah,
I
these
heard
ones
about
don't have homework.
No, and if I did, it wouldn't do it. Yeah.
Don't say that. I'm not going to let Ollie hear that.
No, Ollie, I made up a book report on the spot one time. You can do anything.
Don't go to college. Don't.
No,
Don't go to college.
Maybe
Have you
finish
gone to
a
college?
semester.
Yeah, you went to
I went
college
to
a little
art.
bit.
I went to art school.
Yeah.
Did you finish?
No, because they didn't.
Oh, here we go.
They didn't
They didn't let me.
provide what they said they were going to do. We were supposed to learn everything on PCs the first year and then everything on Mac the second year, and they decided they didn't have enough money to have enough Macs for us to learn on, so we were going to learn everything on PC. And back in 96, you didn't do graphic design on a PC, you did it on a Mac. So I quit
Where'd you go to school?
Art Institute in Seattle.
That's why a bunch of hippies up there, dude.
He was one of them.
That's not an ad read
I was
at all.
never a hippie.
You're pretty close. See your tattoos, dude.
You weren't a hippie?
No.
He is a
I was a
hippie.
skateboarder, dude.
Yeah, but they
Same thing. They kind of cross over
Yeah.
along the way eventually.
little devil's lettuce make a hippie,
Sort
dude.
of, kind of.
Now look at him, dude. Incline hot tub. Check him out for all your hot tub needs.
That's right. Cut the check. Tell them to go to bed and you get 10% off.
Done. Come on. Do you guys have a hot tub?
No.
They should get a hot tub
I
for
know,
sponsorship.
You need one, dude.
Yeah, dude. Hook us up. You hooked Conway up with one.
I don't think that thing ever ran.
Well, it's one of his 17 projects he has.
He
in his
loves the
fucking
project,
Piece of shit
yeah.
house.
Why would you say on air that that thing never ran?
Dude, it was somebody that was getting rid of it.
Oh,
I said,
okay,
if you
okay.
want it, you can go to the house and get it.
But you didn't install it. Okay.
So you have new hot tubs somewhere?
I have a few used ones.
No brand new ones?
I mean, I can get brand
And
new.
we're going to need to see your analytics before we give you a brand new hot tub.
Dude, we're doing an average of 100 downloads a day. That's all you need to
Wow.
listen.
Gently used
Yeah,
for
we
sure.
just hit 5,000 downloads yesterday.
Really?
There you go.
No way.
Yeah.
Dude, I tell everybody about this.
How long have you been doing it for? Not very long, huh?
Mm-mm.
A month or two?
Yeah, 2 months maybe.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I think just you two talking makes it, especially JP.
Well, I think
An idiot. dude.
I set him up good, you know?
He sets me up not on purpose, just saying stupid shit that he doesn't know is wrong.
I'm like the automatic pitcher. Just ding. Perfect. And
Did
just
you guys ever get
cranking.
mad at each other?
I don't think so.
Nah.
Rad.
Ever?
I mean, maybe he has, but he's never expressed it. You know, I fucked up here and there, but no, yeah.
It's just his fuck ups are just part of him, though. You know, like it's part of the package deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
If this guy's doing your fucking videos, yeah, they're gonna be fucked up once in a while, and you're like, dude, this is in fucking 720p. Are we still in 08?
I'm like,
Oh
oh,
fuck! It's like change your fucking export settings, dude. All right.
and I think, like, I go through my head when I export it, but I'm thinking about something else, and I totally just skip past that, you know?
But you make all of his videos, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm always impressed by him.
Who's video?
Thanks.
Oh, your music videos?
His videos,
You make
yeah.
those?
Yeah. So that, like, it comes with, like, it's a hookup for him, but,
It helps.
like, 2 out of the 40 are 720. The rest are 1080.
And can't be fixed because it was like filmed in 720 or something.
Yeah. Aliens, dude. You know?
You guys should voice over Supercross races.
But there's
Set up
already,
a paywall
what's a paywall?
where people have to pay to see certain content on your stuff. So give this for free. But for you to voice over a race,
Like
I think that would be rad.
Emig and
yeah. Like you're Shaheen.
oh,
He's Emig.
we've done that at a horse race once. We were just where were we?
Yeah, no,
We were at the rodeo.
something.
We were at the rodeo, and I was
Butch
like,
and Roy. Wasn't it?
Roy and Jeff.
Jeff, yeah.
Jeff and Roy.
That's
yeah.
right, Roy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I take that back though. You need to be Shaheen and set him up for the play-by-play. I
Okay.
think that'd be funny.
I don't get
All I
how
have to
that
do is
works.
go, oh, every time someone fucking swaps 1 inch. Oh, and it cut off like Emig or Ricky when they're giving some sort of.
And I was like,
speech
oh, that
where
was a
it's
confidence move. That
I
was
feel
all.
like
Exactly.
Ricky's always wrong with what he calls out.
Ricky?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
like,
not
oh,
as good.
check this
dude.
out. no pass happens.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
thought
right
they were
here, he's
go-
going to pass. He's going to get. Nope, I was wrong. He's not going to get it.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Emig knows.
Do you think they'll switch back?
I really hope.
What happened with that? Do you
I
know?
heard Emig can't because of the Fox thing. He's contracted with somebody. I heard
For
somebody
what?
mention that. It's something to do with the network.
I think they just swapped
No?
him out.
Yeah, I heard they just swapped.
I think
him.
Carmichael sucks.
Yeah, me too. I'd rather have Emig because
Yeah.
Emig's been there, way more than Carmichael. Carmichael is the winner. Like, he's won everything. Emig's been the one from the back of the
Working.
pack or the best starts and gets past, like the stuff that they're talking about.
Be sick with all three of them all the time, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Ralph is good for like carrying it
hmm
when they're not saying anything. It's very rare that there's any like awkward dead space for too long,
Right.
but definitely better insight from Ricky and Jeff.
I think Daniel would be awesome up there.
Oh, yeah, I think so too.
I'm sure that's probably where he's.
I think
wants
they're
to
heading
go,
that
right?
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys know Daniel?
Yeah.
Daniel rode for a Team Solitaire, Clark. And he used to tell me stories how Daniel would he lived with Ryan for a while when they were training because it was out of Phoenix.
I do.
Clarky,
Oh.
Ryan Clark, yeah. So my team owner used to own Team Solitaire, and he had Canary ride for him. He had a lot of good guys ride for him, but Daniel was one of them. And Daniel used to go out for his jog, and he would jog to the pizza place, get pizza, then jog home. And Ryan would say so when I was at A1, when we had it was a shitty night because Mitchell passed in the lead in the heat race, and then we had the problems he pulled in. So Daniel came over to me to talk to me about what he had to say on TV, and he walked away. And then later that night, Ryan's like, ask Daniel about when you rode for me or something. And then Daniel he pulled out a candy wrapper, handed it to me. He's like, give this to Ryan. So I brought it over to Ryan and said, Daniel's saying to give you this. And then after that, they told me the stories about how Daniel was no discipline, would just eat pizza, candy, Reese's Pieces, whatever, and not train.
Damn.
And that drives Ryan nuts because Ryan's super meticulous of be healthy, train, sleep. Ryan's he's we still tells our guys a little bit, but he thinks if you're racing Supercross, you need to stay up till 3 a.m, sleep till whatever time, wake up, mimic everything every day, drink a gallon of water a day, eat this on whatever. And then so for him, I've got Daniel was that's a nightmare. It didn't work out for them, but they can laugh about it now. But
That's crazy. That makes sense because I always see those guys up early training at 6 a.m. They're on the road bikes and shit.
Is
I'm
it 6
damn,
a.m.
dude.
here? or-
No, they'll have the time on,
Oh.
or the sun's coming up or something.
Mhm.
I'm like, dude, that's got to be tough to race at 9 p.m. when you got to be best show of your life when you're used to training in the morning.
yeah. Yeah, and that's where time change and the coast come into a big factor depending on where you live, right? When we were in Atlanta, I was thrown for a loop because it's 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so for Mitchell, I mean, he's just got to acclimate to it, I guess, and just deal with it. But once in a while is not bad. But for outdoors, forget it. You think about it outdoors. If you're West Coast and you go to the East Coast and you fly in, first of all, you're flying in from how far away? And then you're getting up basically to track walk at 4 a.m. your time.
That's why they're all ripping Adderall, dude.
Allegedly. I don't know that. But
All right, let's wrap this shit up, dudes. All right, we haven't been doing our question of the week with
fuck.
the last 4 people, but we'll start it up since we have 2. So, what is your, Chris, you can go first. What is your one piece of advice that if you could give anyone for just a basic, something that you've learned in your 32 and almost 33 years of life, best piece of life advice you can give anyone?
We said don't go to college earlier. We'll say that. No, I guess, you know what, no matter what you do, be undeniable and don't be above anything. For example, Ryan Clark had a really good pro career. And when we first started our team, he drove the semi, I'm the team manager, quote unquote, and I built goggles for our team. You know what I mean? So, like I said earlier too, when I started writing, I used to buy my own pictures to put in to my articles. So just be undeniable, go above and beyond what you're supposed to, and just no matter what it is, just do it. We tell everyone at the beginning of the weekends, I don't care who you are. If there's garbage on the ground in the pit, pick it up. If something's out of place, change it. I don't care who you are. Just be helpful, do whatever you can, and just do your best all times, really. Don't go to college.
Jamie, you have 27 more years of experience than
He's
Chris.
64.
Damn. Not supposed to tell people that.
So what's your one piece of life advice you give anyone?
Mine's pretty easy. Life is so short. Don't stress the little things. Always be happy. Every problem can be fixed. If you dwell on it, it's not going to get better. If you fix it, it's all going to get better. So just always be happy, like me.
Boom.
Boom.
Heard it here first. Always be happy. Over deliver. Don't be above anything.
Go to bed.
Go to bed.
That's your advice.
Yeah.
Just go to bed, dude.
And like donate to us, you know.
I was gonna say donate to charities or something
to
reputable. Do charity work. Donate to club.
Be happy.
Donate to us, dude.
Yeah.
We need those fucking bags.
Yes.
You need that tattoo, dude.
I know,
Yeah,
dude.
Speaking of the head tattoo, we have a Patreon account. Go to bedpodcast.com. You can find everything on there. And the top tier is the legendary sleeper, only room for one, $15,000 a month for a minimum of 6 months. And JP will get his own head tattooed with the logo of his own podcast. So you pay him to do that.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
That's a pretty good deal for
This one.
him.
Where's it going?
Top of my head.
Top of your head. Oh, I get what you're saying. Top of your
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you thinking about it, Chris?
I'm just
Hey, who's the owner of Rockwell,
doing the
dude?
math. Rich.
Rich, where you at, dude? Open up that wallet.
So I'm not good at math. What does that equate to total?
That's
100K.
he wants 100, but 15 times 6 I think is 90.
Okay.
But it's got to be a minimum of 100, so I guess 7 months.
But didn't I also
Yeah.
hear you guys have to split that so he only gets 50?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
he
but
only
on a
gets
payment
50.
plan,
After
right?
taxes.
Well, after tax, yeah,
He doesn't
they're-
pay taxes, dude.
Yeah, we don't pay taxes here. No, never heard of her. But
So we
yeah,
can't 1099 you if we give you 50 grand.
no, you could.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean payments.
No, I mean
It's doable.
minimum of 7 months. So,
Yeah.
so
Minimum. Perfect.
I thought it was 6 months.
well, we figured that'd be 90 grand, and that's not 100. You know,
So
so
we'll have
once
to do 105, I guess.
yeah, 105.
That'll help for your tax bill a little bit.
If you're already paying 100 grand, you can't supply another 5 more, then don't even think about it.
This isn't for you.
Like your pitch.
There's some lower tiers like $2 a month,
Yeah,
$10 a month. There's those ones for you.
yeah. So, what was his name? Ryan.
Rich.
Rich. He could probably afford that, huh?
I mean, I think they do okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they could become a sponsor. We can get a watch, and I could get a tattoo.
And a tattoo. What about a tattoo of a watch?
It's
400K.
been done.
Who's the guy that I met here before that's a tattoo of a watch?
Tim O'Brien.
That's the one, the freestyle guy, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Throws me off sometimes.
We
Full
gotta get him
circle.
on the show soon.
Does he
Yeah,
ever
for
wear a
sure.
watch over it?
I don't know.
Uh,
I know I asked him about it one time, and he said it's the time of his daughter being born, I think.
yeah.
Oh, so that's
What time
cooler. I
is it?
thought it
Yeah.
was just a watch.
Yeah, try to make fun of that.
No, I'm not making fun of anything.
Yeah, you know, he's like, yeah, tattoo. Someone's like, ooh, I don't know about it. He's like, dude, it's when my daughter got born. I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah.
That's a good idea. I don't have good tattoos either. I'm doing fine.
Yeah.
But
All right, let's shout out our sponsors again. At EnduroFest on Instagram, at Walden's Coffee House on Instagram. If you're listening on the podcast app, make sure to subscribe and rate the podcast. And we need to start pushing more at the beginning of the episodes for that and to tell your fucking friends.
Yeah, this is at the end. Yeah.
Because I think word of mouth is more powerful than anything. But
Yeah. Tell a friend if you're here. If you're here listening to us right now, tell a friend. And if you're watching, tell a friend.
And what's the best way to get on the podcast?
to get on,
To listen to it. I always have to go to your Instagram and click on the thing.
yeah. If you just the podcast app is where I listen to everything.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
It's the
that's-
same here, but if I type in "go to bed," it comes up with a bunch
It
of
comes
other
up, dude.
stuff.
You're
I
spelling.
think you're doing it wrong.
Really?
How old are you again?
67,
He
dude.
said how old?
Yeah, it's on Spotify too if you have Spotify and YouTube. But the YouTube videos usually come up 2 or 3 days late because
I'm in charge.
You're busy.
that's
Yeah,
one
I'm busy.
one job.
Yeah. Let me
Get the
tell you though,
fucking
like,
video up.
yeah, like it's definitely no excuse because it should be up, but they're like hour-long videos, so like the export is just as long. You know, that's
Take
2
forever
hours
to export, and then they take forever to put onto YouTube.
Yeah.
So do you have to sit while it exports?
Well, yeah.
Like in front of it?
No, you don't have to, but you can't do much on that
Yeah,
But that
because
app,
it's just
you know?
taking up so much.
Yeah, and my computer's so slow, and it's for like an hour and a half. So if Rockwell wants to buy me a new computer, they could definitely do that
So
too.
a computer, tattoo, and a watch.
and sponsor the podcast.
Yeah, $2,000 a month for the
and
podcast.
4 or 5 tickets to Vegas.
For what?
That's all we
Supercross?
Yeah,
You don't want to go to Vegas. It's too hot. It's dusty.
it's nighttime. It's fun.
It's hot.
When's the last time you went to Vegas for the race?
Last year.
Yeah,
Were
last
you
year.
there last year?
Yeah, I think I was there last year.
We broke both our motors that year. That was fun.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so save some money, don't buy motors, and give us tickets.
I mean, you're.
Yeah, talk about ROI.
ROI. Bring it full circle.
That's right.
I mean, I can probably, I'll figure
Why
it
do you
out.
guys do a podcast in Vegas
We should.
at their booth?
You can
We
do
could.
that. I'll let you.
No
Yeah.
way.
That
Okay.
would be sick.
All right, cool. Yeah, as
Have
long
to be
as it's,
sponsored by Nuclear Blast.
what?
It's Nuclear Blast Records.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Sure.
fine. Yeah, as long as they could cut a check.
I mean, how much? How much?
For both of me, we need a ticket, hotel, food.
Oh, it's one of those deals. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah,
Flights.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Dude, you could interview the riders.
yeah.
Maybe
that'd be
Sabachi would
sick.
cruise over and you
Oh
guys.
my gosh!
I mean, we can make a call.
Can we set up the podcast there?
Do you think
You can set the podcast up there, but I don't think Savashi's coming over.
is Mitchell
Why
friends
is he
with
not?
him?
Mitchell?
Yeah.
Um.
Maybe you can get Mitchell
I'm
to get
friends
over
with
there.
him,
think
dude.
so.
No, I'm gonna.
No, you're not. I don't think so. No. I don't know if Mitchell's friends with them. Maybe. I know Zach was friends with them.
Well, someone we know.
Someone will
is
know
friends.
someone who knows
Yeah.
who's friends with
You
them.
can break the ice in Vegas with.
That'd be sick. First question, I was like, "What was it like being here 2 years ago when you got taken out?"
Set the
Clean
tone
the fuck
immediately.
Clean
He's
the
like,
fuck
all right,
up.
I'm out of here.
If you guys watch our intro on YouTube, it's all footage of him getting cleaned out.
Really?
Yeah.
You did that, didn't you?
Yes,
You're not setting yourself up to be friends with him very well at all.
that's okay, dude. I'm a fan.
He has like
I'm a fan.
he has like Osborne fucking cleaning him out, and then it like pauses when he's in the dirt, and then he has like our logo come in and hit him on the head, and that's what knocks him over.
and
shit
then
like that.
when he falls in the dirt, every time I put like a gif of Z's sleep
Really?
going up from
Oh,
his
just
head.
go to
like-
sleep?
Yeah,
Nah, if you guys want to set up, you can set up at our booth.
that'd be
be sick.
sick.
Yeah. We need to keep you on the Nuclear Blast side where the generator isn't. So people can hear you, but it'll be
Yeah,
good.
we just need to get some different stands for these mics, and then we could just set up on a table, and we'd be good.
Mhm.
Or I guess we could bring these, but they'd be annoying.
I might be on
We
your
could do
show if you do it in Vegas, since I wasn't tonight.
Okay.
You're not coming. Are you coming?
I am coming to Vegas.
All right, where can everyone find you guys?
Who?
Both of
You,
you.
you guys.
Tech1designs.com,
Tech1designs.com.
and we're actually
What about Instagram, dude? Do you know the thing that everyone
At-
uses?
Tech1 Designs.
Boom.
Is that it? Or with the hot tub?
Yeah.
No Insta?
Yeah.
No.
This is a moto thing, not a
Yeah. Right, well, and they're going to
A
sponsor. You're
middle-aged guy
sponsoring the
thing.
show, right?
Yeah.
Hot tub?
Are you gonna sponsor this?
Not with the hot tub. I
Yeah,
wanna
with
do
like a
it.
gently used hot tub.
Oh.
Gently used.
I will find you guys a hot tub. But
Still
no, I want
warm?
Tech1 to do something with you guys with,
Okay.
with the show.
We need Tech One, Rockwell, Incline Hot Tub. What else you guys know?
You talk to me and I'll talk to him. Don't let him negotiate any of your deals.
Me?
I've been listening to you. I don't know you're a good negotiator.
I
I mean, you shoot high. I get the idea of shooting high and then meeting in the middle, but I don't know that your middle might be tough.
That's okay, dude. That's
I'm going to get you a gently used hot tub, though, I think.
why don't you give me a couple
I'm gonna
Supercross
get-
tickets and we'll do a podcast at Vegas, and then we could
I'll get you
actually
Supercross tickets, no problem.
right.
Industry seating, is that okay?
nah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Then you're better off buying your own ticket then.
Well,
Because it's
Cheaper.
cheap.
I'll buy you general admission, no problem.
all right,
All
Those
right.
are the best.
I'll leave my will call.
okay,
He can drive in your stuff.
perfect.
Set it
we
up.
load it up
Call
in the Sprinter.
Savachi.
Mm-hmm.
all
All
right,
right, it's on. Go to bed episode.
If you're gonna be-
whatever in Vegas.
Yeah, if you're going to Vegas, come by the Rockwell booth, Nuclear Blast, or whatever.
We'll be somewhere. there.
Rockwell Racing, Rockwell watches Nuclear Blast Records, Yamaha Racing.
Tech1.
Tech one. Yeah, we have to
Look
talk
for
about-
the smoke.
Puppy
Watch. Go to the smoke.
You guys just stay set up all day. Just let people come by and just interview random fans.
Ooh, that would be
That'd
The
be
guys
sick.
that go, big fan.
like a
come on."
5-hour live show.
Dude, yeah, that's another thing. Like talking about this guy will say anything to anyone. When we were in fucking in Oakland, he's like anyone that looks like they are a fucking dirtbag or like still stuck in 80s hair metal scene or whatever, he'd just be walking by there, walking the other way. He's like, oh, dude, big fan. And he like goes into fucking give him a handshake. Love your shit. And they're like, what? He's like, keep putting it online.
Really?
Yeah. Big fan, dude. Love it. And they're like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, love that shit. Keep it up. They're like, what the fuck are you talking
Most people
about?
are just like, okay. And then that one guy was like, no, like, what do you love? It's like, keep putting it online, dude.
And I'm like still trying to go to get out of it, you know?
That might be better than the key one. I like the key one though.
Dude, actually, you know what? I was at the bank yesterday, and there's a girl at Greater Nevada Credit Union that tells you, put your name in this thing, and then the teller calls you up. And I made some joke about something, and she told me to go to bed.
No
Really?
way.
Yeah, and I asked if she knew you guys, and
She's like, no.
no. And I was
Oh.
like, that is crazy. I totally forgot about that.
Is that because like when someone says something dumb, you say go to bed? Because
No.
I've done that a
Kind
lot.
of, but
Like if
it's-
Ryan makes me mad, I tell him, dude, go to bed. Like I'm not listening to you anymore. Kind
Yeah.
of deal.
If it's late or anytime.
Yeah. Doesn't matter what time. Go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like a shitty insult.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah,
to bed.
Just go to bed.
Go to bed. You're done. Go to bed.
Yeah.
Night. Yeah. Yeah, so go to bedpodcast.com, get yourself a pillow or a blanket, and then also if you're on the website, fucking tap the merch icon for more merch than you see on the homepage. Because there's a lot more colored shirts, fucking smalls, mediums, and larges, anything.
Dude,
Go
let's see how much longer you can drag this out.
fucking go buy one now. Thank you.
You need to go to bed.
I'm ready, dude.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
That's funny.
God.
That key
Cut
thing
that
is
check,
funny.
cut that check, cut that check. I need my check, I need my check, I need my check, I need my check.